Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another video. I wanted to share some perspective with y'all on using the word Kaafir, right? Which is disbeliever in the Muslim world. It's interesting because when you come to the Muslim world, and of course it depends on which country you go to, that the Muslims will censor you and say don't use that word, don't say kafir. And it's not everyone in these particular Muslim countries. Usually you'll find the more Islamically educated people, they'll say kufaar or kafir. They don't have any shyness in that, and just in conversation. But you have Muslims who it's not even, they'll censor you even if it's not a non-Muslim around, due to the fact that the word kafir is used so violently by terrorists, for example. Because the Muslim world, they have to deal with extreme Muslims who terrorize them, of course, who kill them, who bomb them, blow them up, shoot them in the street. For usually takfiris, of course, and khawarij, they terrorize the Muslims, and they use the word kafir, kufaar, to usually tell the Muslims, yo, you're imitating the kafir, kufaar, you love the kufaar, whatever. Is usually synonymous with harshness and terrorism. But you'll have the Muslims who will censor you and say, no, say the others. Don't say kafir, that's not a good word. And us as Westerners who are under non-Muslim rule and law, and many of us who have suffered discrimination and harshness and basically assaults on the religion, from insults and mockery, then you feel that word. You understand what it means. And we look at it from a religious aspect, from reading the Quran. Allah uses the word kufaar, so we're not shy to use the word kufaar, kafir. So it's a little it's a little different from people coming from non-Muslim countries who are from Ahl Sunnah anyway, because of course you have Khalafis that come from their parents are Muslim and migrated to the US and feel privileged to be there, so they speak about those people in a positive light. Look what they've given us. It's a privilege to be in this country. We have freedom. They've given us so much. Blah, 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 blah. So they definitely don't want to look at the non-Muslims in a negative light, because they're too busy praising them for what they've given them, allowing them to come in after they were destitute or didn't have much opportunity in their countries, or whatever the case may be. Might not even be that. They just like the West, and they're proud to be there and are proud to be a citizen, and they don't want to, have any ill feelings in their heart, even though that doesn't constitute you having, retaliation or rebellion against them. But anyways, yeah, the Muslims will censor you for saying that word, and I think it's largely because those born in Muslim countries who have the upper hand, the government and the population is majority Muslim, they have not seen the true face of disbelief. I think they haven't seen it at all. Meaning, besides occupations or, you know, maybe America invading them or something like that, they don't really know up close what it is for the non-Muslims to be over you, for you to be the minority, and for them to have the upper hand. They don't know what that's like. They know that the Muslim and Islam has the upper hand in the countries that they're from, and the Christians are usually, no, they are the minority. And they live with them in harmony. They call them their brothers. For those who are Khalafi, Allahumma musta'an, they don't, they're ignorant of religion. They call them their brothers and things like that. They live and tolerate each other. So they don't want to say any words that would hurt them, especially when they're out of Christians. They understand the word Kaafir. They understand it because they speak Arabic. So I get it. I understand from that standpoint why they don't like to use the word. From their standpoint, having the upper hand, not wanting to offend people who are a minority, they want them to feel welcomed in the country. They don't oppress them. It's their country as well. Syria, Jordan, Kuwait, for example. You got Christians in all the Arab countries for the most part, except for, I think, Yemen. There were Yahud there, but I don't think there were any Christians. But yeah, the Yemenis don't have a problem saying Kaafir. Pakistanis don't like saying Kaafir because there's Christians in Pakistan as well. Where else? So yeah, Syrians, of course, Lebanese, that's a whole nother story anyway. Syrians, Lebanese, who else? Palestine, of course. There are Christians in Palestine. So, when you have legacies and years, centuries of the Muslims living with non-Muslims, Egypt, and they have neighbors that are Christian and things like that, and they have the upper hand. They don't want to use inflammatory speech because those who have deviancy and extremism in them will sometimes violate them, and that happens. I heard stories about Egyptians who have violated Christian Egyptians. They suffer a level of persecution, because they're the minority, which is wrong. It's wrong. So I do understand that sentiment, not using the word, but that's where a conversation should be had, or they should be willing to understand us when we use the word instead of just trying to shut us down and censor us right away. Because we're coming from a different world, and we learn the religion through the text, not through culture, not through social connections. We're living together with them, and all of these nuances in society and sociology is relates to the Muslim world and how you're supposed to function as having the upper hand. We don't know anything about that. We're coming from non-Muslim countries. So if any of you are listening that are from a Muslim country and you share these same beliefs, or you've been taught that by your family, know that those of us who have converted or entered Islam rather, because there's not even a word for convert, and definitely not a word for revert. For all of you guys who like to use the word revert, there's no such thing in Islam as a revert or even a convert. It's you entered into the fold of Islam. Convert comes from, yes, the English language. The Christians use it. You convert from one religion to another, but that's the English language. And revert is just straight up philosophy. That's something that has been invented within the last, I would say, the last 15 years. So I don't bother with that word at all. But yes, those of us who entered into the fold of Islam from non-Muslim nations, that word Kaafir, we use it because, like I said, Allah says it in the Quran, and we understand the meaning of it because we've been harmed, and we see what they do, and we see the hatred that they have for the religion, and we see the lies that they tell, and we see how they try to set the Muslims up. So we use it, and we don't care about using it. We don't say it to their faces to start any fights or anything, but that's what we say. This person's a Kaafir. Kaafir, that's because they're on kufr. You feel it because you see how they behave when they have the upper hand, and it's not nice. It's ugly. So yeah, that's something that you guys should be on the lookout for. You may have someone to correct you if you use the word Kaafir just in conversation. You're like, well, the kufaar, just referring to them as as non-Muslims. How the kufaar, it's a lot of kufaar here, or well, the kufaar in my country, they'd be like, oh no, why you just say, well, we don't like this word, just say others. But they're sensitive due to where they come from and their position in society and what they've been taught, not to be an oppressor. No, we don't want to oppress anyone. That word carries connotations of oppression. We Muslim, we're supposed to be kind to everyone, not exclude people. So that's where that's coming from, which from their position, I definitely understand how that could come about. But like I said, they should also understand our position and know why we say what we say. And yes, many of us are guests in the religion, but if we learn the religion, if we learn it, we didn't inherit it by adat and taqalid. So you can't teach us your commonalities and your culture as it relates to religious practice when it comes to certain things. It's not incorrect for us to say that. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to let you guys know. You shouldn't use the word just to demean somebody, but to say the haqq, the truth. The person is a non-Muslim, that's what they are. They kufaar, because even in English I try to say, well, non-Muslims, so that you don't offend them. I do that in English because I don't want anyone to be offended, especially if you're trying to call someone to Islam or show people manners and etiquette. I get it, but if we're amongst ourselves, that kind of caught me off guard. It's like, well, we're all Muslims, so why are you censoring me saying Kaafir and it's just you and I? Or we're in a room full of Muslims. I'm confused. Why am I being censored? Why is that wrong? Don't say Kaafir? Interesting. But yeah, I get it. I just wanted to let you all in on that. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget the Hijrah mandate sacrifice. And I will see you all in the next video. Ma salama.